Today on In the Woodyard, we've got a delivery to do. We're going to talk about the minimums of delivery, what I do, what other people do, maybe what you do. Pretty much every day I do 1 or 2 deliveries, and it's been like that for well over a month now. I've had days where I've done 5, 6 deliveries. And I don't think I've had, maybe I had one day that I can think of I had no deliveries. It's just been steady, steady, steady. And I've been trying to deliver the wood immediately as soon as people call, because if I put it off 4, 5, 6 days, all of a sudden it's the weekend, and then I get, 5, 6 people waiting, and then I get 3, 4 more calls on a weekend, and it's kind of overwhelming. So I try to kind of just do it right away. My wife really likes it because the cash flow is steady. It just keeps coming. Cash flow is a good thing. Every day I come home with a couple Uncle Bennies. She's happy. Happy wife, happy life, as they say, so that's a good thing. And what I want to talk about is I did a video, for you guys, it was probably over a month ago now, and it was just a few days ago, and there was a lot of comments in there, and it was about a special delivery that I did for a guy that wanted $200 worth of wood. And my normal amount that I deliver for a minimum is 1/3 of a cord, which is what I'm going to put in here today, and that's $120. At least it was. I'm raising my prices now that we're in the new year. I'm going to raise everything like 10, 20 bucks. So we'll talk about that later. But my minimum has been 1/3 of a cord or a face cord for a very long time. When I very first started doing firewood deliveries, this was probably 14, 15 years ago, something like that. I had a one-time customer, I'm glad it was a one-time customer, that said, yeah, I want 1/2 of a face cord. I said, okay, 1/2 of a face cord. I can do that, and the only reason I was willing to do it, it was literally like 4 blocks from my business. So it was right on the way home I could deliver. I said, normally I do a face cord or 1/3 of a cord as my minimum, but I'll do it for you this one time. And I thought I was going to be the nice guy. And at the time I was selling the wood for, I want to say it was like $100 for a face cord. It could have been 90, I don't know. So it was going to be half of that. So it was going to be 45, 50 bucks. That was 50 bucks. And so I loaded up actually more than 1/6 of a cord or 1/2 of a face cord. And I pulled in, they said, oh, that doesn't look like very much wood. I said, well, you said 1/2 of a face cord. Well, I thought it would be like a truckload. I said, well, a face cord or 1/3 of a cord would be a truckload. You said 1/2, that's what this is. And they said, okay, well, put it over there. So I backed right up. I actually stacked it for them and everything. They came out and they almost didn't want to pay me. They were like this with the money. Like, that's way less than I thought it was going to be. I said, well, that's the amount you asked for, so that's what it is. They never ordered again, which I'm okay with. I actually think they moved. But the whole thing is it's not worth my time to deliver that small of amount. And I know some of you do, and I will only do it if it's a special occasion, special customer, on my way, an easy thing, or if I can do it tacked on to another delivery, something like that. But my minimum is 1/3 of a cord. That's just what I tell people. When people call and they say they want a very small amount, they tell me they've got one of those racks that's a metal one, which a lot of people have. Most people have the 8-foot wide ones, so you can stack the wood 4 feet high, 1/3 of a cord, face cord. Some people have the 4-foot wide ones, which fits 1/6 of a cord or 1/2 of a face cord. Well, it's not really worth my time for the 50 bucks. To load up the wood, drive it, deliver it, come back, it's just, I want it to be at least worth my time that I have to put into it for doing that delivery. So that has been my minimum for a very long time. And most of the people, when I tell them that my minimum is this much, they're like, oh, okay. So they usually go along with it. And I just tell them, that 1/2 of a face cord or 1/6 of a cord is not very much wood. I tell them, you stack it, it's only 4 feet high, 4 feet wide. And they go, oh, well, I got a rack that's 8 feet. I said, well, yeah, you want 1/3 of a cord. And they go, oh, okay. So that is why I do that. Now, some of you in the comments on that last video that I was referring to say that they will only deliver a full cord, or their minimum is 1/2 of a full cord. But in our area here, face cords are kind of the universal language that we speak. I know it's not everywhere. Some parts of the country, especially the East Coast and sometimes to the far west, you legally have to say full cord or 1/2 of a full cord, and that's like your minimum. And one guy in particular mentioned that all he ever sells is half cords and full cords. That's it. That's all he does. Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. In his area, that's the common practice. But in my area, we go by face cords. And I know a lot of you are like, well, face cord, that's not legal. We don't have those kind of laws here. We can call it what we want. Some parts of the country call it a rick. Some call it a row. Some call it a rank. Some call it a truckload. I've heard all kinds of different names about what people call it. In your area, whatever you call it, good for you. If everybody agrees, fine. So the reason I'm bringing this up is I recently saw an ad in our local area where on Craigslist, a guy had an ad in there, and I've seen this over the years. He sells firewood. He's about an hour away from here, and he will only sell 5 face cords at a time because that's what fits in his dump trailer. That's his minimum, 5 face cords, which is a good order. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think it's got to be because he's out in the country and he's selling, probably the vast majority of the people he's selling to, probably all the people, are people that heat with wood. So that's his minimum amount that he'll deliver is 5. That's all he wants to deal with. And that's good for him if that's what he wants to do. Now, if I was to go to where I would only deliver, just say a full cord, which is 3 face cords, or 3/3, that would be 3 truckloads. And in my trailer, I can put a face cord. I mean, I can fit a full cord, or I can do up to 5 face cords, a full cord and 2/3. If I was to say that was my minimum, I would literally eliminate probably 70 to 80% of my customers. Most of my customers buy 1 face cord at a time, 1/3 of a cord at a time, because they've got a rack, and you're going to see this in the delivery I'm doing today, because we're going to be stacking it right out of the truck, because that's what I do for this customer. It fits 1/3 of a cord of face cord. That's what most of my people buy, so that's kind of what I have to do. Now, some of you would say, oh, it's not worth my time. Well, then charge more. Charge more. But in our area, I am selling wood to people that are doing one of 2 things with the wood. They're one of about, I should say, 3 things that they're doing with the wood. It's for a fireplace. It is for relaxation. It's for heating that room just for comfort. Or it is for auxiliary heating, where they've got the fireplace going and they run their furnace fan, circulates the air in the house, and they go through 4, 5, 6 a year, but they want them one at a time because they don't want a big pile of wood. Or it's people that are buying it for backyard fire pits or for going camping. Those are the people I sell to. Those are the vast majority of my customers. Now, because they live, like in this particular customer I'm going to, this is a duplex that she lives in, side by side. And she's got a 1-stall garage, and she puts the wood right alongside of her garage, and that's all she really wants in there. She could fit maybe another half of a row and still get her other stuff in there. But most of the people I sell to are not stockpiling wood for the upcoming winter to heat their whole house. I mean, I have people like that, but that is not the majority. And like I said, if I was to eliminate all the people that only order 1/3 of a cord at a time, I would lose lots of my customers. And lots of my customers, like this particular person, this is her 3rd order this year. So this will be a full cord that she has ordered from me. Winter's about half over right now. So I know she will order at least once, if not twice more yet. So I may end up selling to her 2 full cords. And yeah, it would be nice to just deliver it and dump the 2 full cords and be done. But that's not what's good for the customer. They don't want to store a big pile of wood. They just don't. So that's most of my people. And like I said, your area may be different, but that's how it is for me. So I want to know from you guys, what is your minimum you'll do? What is your average amount that you sell? Far as customers in a year, like what's common? I have taken probably 3 years I've done this. I haven't done it in the last 2 years. I've taken all my customers from a full year, added up how many customers I had, and then added up how much wood I've sold, because I keep track on my delivery cards that I have. And then I divided the number of customers into the 1/3 of a cords, or face cords. And 1 year I came up with 2.7. 1 year I came up with 2.5. So, and what I mean by that is 1/3 of a cord. So not quite a full cord. And the reason is there are people that buy 1 face cord a year. There's some people that buy 1 face cord, 1/3 of a cord, every 2 years. And they think they got all the wood in the world. Then there's other people like this customer and several other ones that I have. They'll buy wood from me 6, 7, 8 times a year, 1/3 of a cord at a time. And then there's people that heat with wood that I sell to, like my best customer, Mark. I shouldn't say best. I have other ones that buy more than him, but he's a very good customer. He's like one of my favorite guys. He's just fun. And he buys 3 full loads every year. So that's 4 full cords every year. That's what he buys from me every year, 4 full loads. So great customer, and I do a load one week, then a load the next week, and then a load the following week. And then he stacks it and stores it, and he keeps it for a full year. So he's always a year ahead in his storage, even though the wood I deliver could be burned immediately. But he just likes to do it that way. And I know a lot of heating people are like that. My brother Ken delivers a lot of wood to people that heat with wood. He delivers most of his wood June, July, and August because they want it ready to go and know that it's stacked by their woodshed, by their wood boiler, in their storage area, wherever it is. They want it ready to go. And my brother's average customer buys somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 to 4 full cords a year. That's his average. Some buy more, some buy less. He does have some smaller customers that buy 1 or 2 at a time. And he's starting to do more of those, and he's realizing there are people that don't heat with wood, but they have a wood stove in their garage, or they have a fireplace, and they want 1/3 of a cord at a time. And that's what they order, but they order several times. And he says, yeah, it's kind of a pain, but it is kind of nice to kind of always have that money coming in where you go, you know, once a month to the same person, and every time you pull in, it's, you know, it's $100, $120, whatever it is you get. And it's just steady cash flow. So that is the lifeblood of every business, is steady cash flow. So what are your minimums? What will you deliver? What won't you deliver? How do you do it? I'm curious. Put in the comments. Everybody can kind of look and see what everybody else does. So I guess what I'd like to find out, like I said, how much is your average? How much is your minimum? And you don't have to say the town, but just say what state you're in. Would be kind of interesting just to see how that kind of works out. And in my state, it's quite different because I'm in the Fox River Valley here, and it is area in Appleton, Wisconsin. We've got 250,000 people within 10 miles of me, something like that. If you go to a bigger city like say Milwaukee or Chicago, you're gonna have, you know, millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people. If you go to a really, really big city, if you're gonna go to New York, you're gonna have even more people yet. And I gotta believe the bigger the city, the more customers you have, number one, but probably your smaller orders. You go out into the country where people are heating with wood and they're away from a lot of people, I think you're going to get bigger amounts of orders. And we have that here just in the state. Northern Wisconsin, a lot of heating people. Southern Wisconsin, a lot of just drinking wood type people where they're buying wood for enjoyment to sit and relax. So that's what we got. All right, we're going to chuck some wood now. So there it is, a little more than 1/3 of a cord, a face cord, a pickup truck load, a rinker roll. There it is, it's in, and this is my minimum. You guys now have to go into comments. You don't have to, but it'd be great if you did. Let me know what's your minimum, what's your average, and what's your maximum and what you can haul to possibly. That'd be interesting. So there it is, down the road we go. It's delivery time.